Aaliyah Boston leaned back in her chair after practice, the question hanging in the air. This being your third season, it seems like you've been a lot more assertive or spicy this year. She cracked a smile. I think so. I like spicy. Then she paused, almost laughing at the word. No, I'm just not spicy, but yeah. My mindset is just coming in and being the player I need to be for us. Whatever that looks like. Spicy or not, Boston's words landed with weight. Because if there was ever a season where the Indiana Fever needed more bite, more grit, more edge, it was this one. And what tied together a locker room mantra, a bruising blowout, and a playoff berth was exactly that. Spice, dominance, and defiance wrapped into one. Their 94-65 destruction of the Washington Mystics wasn't just another win. It was a message. A declaration that Indiana wasn't going to fold under the weight of adversity. And it was Boston, in the middle of it all, who summed up the mindset carrying this team into the postseason without Caitlin Clark and 4 other key players. The path here was brutal. Clark, the sophomore sensation and the Fever's leading scorer, was lost after only 13 games with a torn groin. Sophie Cunningham, gone with a knee injury. Chloe Beebe, same story. Sydney Colson sidelined. Ari McDonald out with a foot injury. 5 names erased from the rotation. 5 key contributors ripped away. That kind of loss is usually a death sentence in the WNBA. Most teams crumble. Indiana somehow grew sharper. Clark's absence carried the heaviest blow. She wasn't just scoring 16 a game, she was the heartbeat of Indiana's offense. Her injury announcement sent a shockwave through the basketball world. Analysts declared the Fever finished. Fans who had been packing Gainbridge Fieldhouse in record numbers were left asking how this team could possibly survive. Even the players admit, looking back, no one would have believed it. To lose half the roster and still fight for the postseason? Probably no thinking way, one said, but survival turned into resilience. And resilience turned into something else. Stephanie White's leadership became the hinge point. She didn't sugarcoat anything. She didn't try to erase the hardship. Instead, she leaned into it. She told her team to be where your feet are. Simple but powerful. Don't drown in who's missing. Don't waste time wishing the roster was whole. Play the possessions in front of you. Stay grounded. And slowly, that mindset became their foundation. It wasn't smooth. The rotation looked like a revolving door. By mid-season, 18 different players had suited up in a Fever jersey. Odyssey Sims was signed mid-year. Shea Petty suddenly found herself logging crucial minutes. Aerial Powers carved out a spark plug role. Every game felt like a test of chemistry. This wasn't strategy, it was survival. But survival forged steel. By August, something had shifted. The adversity that was supposed to break Indiana started binding them together. Instead of leaning on one superstar, everyone learned to shoulder the weight. That next woman up mantra wasn't just lip service. It became their identity. And against Washington, it all crystallized. The first half was tight, nerves buzzing as the Mystics traded blows and forced Indiana into difficult looks. The Fever's offense sputtered. Momentum felt fragile and the question loomed. Would this be one of those nights where the undermanned roster finally snapped? Then came the third quarter. What Indiana did in that frame wasn't basketball. It was a suffocation. The Mystics scored just 9 points. Passing lanes vanished. Every drive met resistance. Every rotation was sharp, every hand active. It wasn't just defense, it was a full shutdown. And with every stop, Indiana's confidence surged. The lead ballooned past 20, then 30, until the game was no longer a contest. It was a statement. The scoreboard read 94-65 at the final buzzer, and the Fever were playoff bound. Their first back-to-back postseason appearances since 2015 and 2016. Their first winning record in nearly a decade. Natasha Howard was unstoppable inside, pouring in a game-high 17 points and punishing Washington every time she touched the ball near the rim. Aaliyah Boston delivered her 17th double-double of the season. 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists, breaking the franchise record in only her second year. Aerial Powers came off the bench with fire, dropping 15 points, grabbing 6 rebounds, and energizing her teammates with relentless effort. Shea Petty was flawless, hitting all 3 of her attempts from deep for 13 points. Lexie Hull did the dirty work, diving for loose balls, hassling guards, and flipping defense into offense. Even on an off-shooting night, Kelsey Mitchell chipped in 10 points and steadied the backcourt. Balance became their weapon. 5 players in double figures, 27 points off turnovers, and only 6 giveaways all night. That's not luck. That's discipline. In the locker room, the celebration was loud, sweaty, and overdue. But when the cameras turned to Boston, her words carried more than the victory. Asked how they'd survived, she didn't hesitate. Never doubt yourself and what you're capable of, no matter what happens. She credited the staff for smart decisions on who to bring in and what type of people fit the culture. She credited the team for sticking together, but above all, she emphasized belief. Never doubting. Playing with joy. Playing together, regardless of who was on the floor. That mantra has become the heartbeat of Indiana. Boston's 41st career double-double was impressive, but her leadership meant more. When asked about the locker room atmosphere after the game, she joked about making a TikTok, then shifted back to business. Yes, enjoy the moment. But Tuesday looms. The playoffs demand preparation. That balance, joy and focus, fun and fire, is why her teammates follow her so naturally. If Clark is the spark that draws cameras, Boston is the anchor holding everything in place. She doesn't just rebound, score, and pass. She stabilizes. She directs. She defines. And this season, stripped of half their roster, the Fever needed someone to hold the house together. Now the question becomes, what's next? Indiana's first-round matchup could be brutal. Atlanta, Las Vegas, Phoenix, all dangerous, all tested. And in the best-of-3 format, the Fever will face 2 road games. On paper, the odds look steep, but this team has already beaten those same opponents, often with the very rotation they're fielding now. The return of playoff basketball to Gainbridge Fieldhouse for the first time since 2016 is bigger than just one round. It's proof of a culture shift. Proof that Indiana is no longer defined by survival, but by resilience. Over the course of the year, 18 different players wore the jersey. That instability forced growth. Hull and Petty seized opportunities. Howard and Powers brought veteran calm. Mitchell evolved into more than just a scorer. And Boston became the voice. When Caitlin Clark returns next season, she won't rejoin a team waiting to be saved. She'll walk into a locker room already hardened by fire, already bonded by pressure, already carrying championship DNA. What was supposed to be a season of collapse has instead built a foundation that could define the franchise for years. As the Fever head into the playoffs, they've already rewritten their story. This isn't about who they lost. It's about who they became. A team forged by injuries, defined by belief, and carried by a mantra that started in Boston's quiet smile. Never doubt yourself. Never doubt what this group is capable of, and now the entire league has to answer a question. If Indiana can do this with half a roster, what happens when they're whole again?